Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, Wolf here, where today I figured uh, I would do code, which is something I have never done before, and well, I have done it before quite a few times, just not to like a proper attempt to make a game style. Also, I will, just a quick heads up, these aren't like professionally made games, and and I don't make Scratch games often. I just happen to know blocks and no other script when it comes to coding, so I figured, I mean, if I'm gonna make a video, may as well be a good video. So, I am writing this on I am reading. I haven't written anything because I just freehand it and hope for the best. Um, but I am speaking to you on the 27th, and it'll probably be like the 30th at least when you see this. Uh, so yeah. Um, anyway, today I figured I would code three games in Scratch. That I spend 2 hours on, one that I spend an hour on, and one that I spend 30 minutes on. And oh boy, it is so hard to code. Um, in 1 hour and half an hour. When I did the 2 hour one, I thought, oh, this is gonna be so easy. Because I mean, I had extra time left to like go in and write the instructions and stuff. I could have probably spent that half an hour like fine tuning it to work properly and like adding sound and stuff. I didn't add sound or proper effects to like the background and stuff until the 30-minute one because frankly I figured, oh, there's no point in making a proper full on game that you can play. I'll just do something dumb, for the memes, which is exactly what I did. But anyway, on to the video. Thank you, intro me. And on to the second, technically, part of the video, which is the 2 hour section. So the game I made for the 2 hour one is called Flying Dragonfly. I know, creative. And the aim of the game is to survive because basically there's this frog that's trying to eat you. There's just this one frog right now, and I figured, okay, it's been like 20 minutes. So I made the first frog in like the first half an hour, and I was like, this was really easy and really fast. So I just decided to like um I just decided to like add more frogs. And then I got to the third frog and I was like, this is gonna be really difficult to add another one. She only have like half an hour left, and it's being really glitchy because of how the timing system works. I could have probably added another one because I did spend like half an hour on like the project page and stuff, but um, it would have still probably been more worth my time to not spend half an hour on the project page. Ooh, I did not know this was a feature of my. I'm getting distracted. Anyway, so the first part of the code was, of course, coding the original frog. I don't think I decided on what bug I should use. I'm pretty sure I was. Yeah, okay, I've added the dragonfly now. I have cut out parts of it because it was like 10 minutes long at like 8 times sped up. The whole thing, like for 1 hour alone, because it kind of just my recording crashed like halfway through it, and I didn't realize for I don't know how long. It doesn't seem like very long because I have almost 2 hours of footage anyway, so that's good. But right now I'm coding the dragonfly using the W, A, S, and D keys instead of the arrow keys, because I don't like using the arrow keys for more complicated games. I just feel like it's kind of like Roblox style, and even Roblox you can use the arrow keys as well, and there was a lot of randoms. I found that when I was doing this, a lot of what I was doing was random numbers. Like, I feel like that was probably the block that I used the most throughout this, but I added each letter individually because, who needs the text option? I didn't even know that was an option when I was writing this. I was just like, "Oh, I can't believe you have to add the letters individually. You don't have to. I effectively chose to." Anyway, I added a kind of cool feature where like I started adding it, and I was like going back and forth where the letters were like slowly moved, and I was editing the tongue at the same time because as I was game testing it, I realized this is really hard to like avoid the tongue because it just kind of appears and you don't know where it's going to come, and it could just appear in front of you. So I made it so that it color changes first, So it changes to red, which is the normal color of a frog's tongue, I now realize. Um, and I didn't add a ghosting effect, which is probably what I should have done. So it looked like it was like, okay, it's gonna appear here, like it's showing you where it's gonna appear, and then it appears. It's just a solid red to a solid blue, but it was still useful, and I was trying to figure out the timer at this point and it was just not working for me. Like I tried to make it so that when the timer hit 10 and it just wasn't cooperating. So at the end I just gave up and changed the frog time to normal time, and just added that, and I kept having to change like the hidden and the showing because whenever I was testing it or like I needed to move it so that when it originally started, it started in a certain place, I had to manually put show in it, so the when green flag pressed so that it didn't glitch out. And I also added a nice background. You can't change the background because I do not want to code that. I've done it before. It was not good. Um, but yeah, so I guess I could have done that, but I'm getting sidetracked again. At this point, it was the halfway mark, and I added a second frog. And because of the way the rotation works, I flipped the frog. The frog was on its back, and I also added a third frog. And I got frog two and three mixed up. So frog three is on top of frog two. So I just like sorted out the layering and stuff, and the tongue was so annoying because it was a separate attachment to the frog, because otherwise it probably wouldn't have had the same rotational abilities. It always just kind of spikes through the frog's head sometimes. So that's fun. Um, and even though it was kind of difficult, I still did it pretty quickly. I think by the time I finished um, the frog's tongues, I still had like half an hour left. So I just like sorted out the like game logo and all of the tongues, and it's so funny watching it. Like I can see it in the corner now, so that I know what I'm voicing over, and it's so funny because it's either game over or just like a bunch of frog tongues just appearing out of nowhere, and like really fast moving frogs. I think this. Ooh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like paying attention. I can't remember this because this was like 4 hours ago, maybe more. Probably more. I kept losing as well, which is really sad. I could barely beat my own game. And oh, I gotta say, the ending of this, like when I finished up, I had like 40 seconds on the clock, and you need to get to 40 seconds to complete the game. And this was like the last game test because I was game testing it during the time as well. So if I wanted to game test it, I had to do it while I still had time. And I had like 40 seconds left on the top, left on the timer. So I started the game and I was like playing it like really quickly. I can't really play it quickly. It's got to take 40 seconds. And if I died, I would have just had to, I would like had to hope it worked, and it worked, and I didn't have to do anything. And I was listening to music in the background at the time, and the music was just like perfectly emulating what was going on. I'm pretty sure it was like really dramatic music. I'll have to check, but yeah, like I'm pretty sure like as I was doing it, like it was like really tense music in the background. It was pretty funny. And I added some like we won, thanks for playing, and game over logos as well. I added them to all the games that you could win and lose, which is just the first two, because I don't think it would be fair to make you win the last one. I'm not gonna like spoil the next ones because you get there when you get there. Feel free to skip ahead if you want to, but just have patience and be calm. And then I changed it so that when the U1 came up, the background changed and everything, and I did just like test it again to make sure everything was still up and working. And I mean, sure, the dragonfly didn't disappear at the end, but like it looks so nice. Especially since I spent 2 hours on it, it just feels so nice to like go back and look at your work and like know that I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I added some balls. Yeah, so yeah, I decided that it wasn't hard enough as it was, because frankly it wasn't. So I added three balls, and every 10 seconds the difficulty increases, which is explained in the description if you do want to check it out at the end of this. Um, and two of them are just kind of floating around mindlessly, but one of them is faster than the other one. They are randomly generated speeds. So one of them I think is like 10 to 20, one of them's 15 to 5, or like around that, maybe 15 to 20. So like that's the speed they go at, and they go anywhere. But then the third one follows you around, but at like a speed of, I think, the same one as the slow one, but it follows you. Actually, I think it might be like 1 to 10 it follows you at. So like you just gotta, like, if when it hits 20 seconds, you just gotta kind of fly around, because otherwise you're just gonna get caught. I figured that was why it was too easy, because sometimes the frogs didn't attack the middle of it because they weren't attacking you, they were attacking in random directions. So sometimes you could just sit there in the middle and not do anything, and nothing would happen. So thanks to the floating purple ball, which I think is a poison bubble according to the game's description, um, you can in fact not stay in the middle at all times because you're currently being hunted down by a sentient bubble of poison. Yay. Also, I think the frogs' tongues were a bit glitchy because I think one of them might be backwards, and I just added this, and this is in instructions in the description, and the description is you play as a dragonfly trying to escape being caught by frogs and bubbles. Use the red tongues as an indicator to get out of the way before they turn blue. Don't forget to avoid the 3 poisonous bubbles. The difficulty increases every 10 seconds, make it to 30 seconds to win. I did change this afterwards because I didn't mention that one of them follows you, and also I changed it to 40 seconds because I figured 30 seconds would be too fast, because it is decently easy because you only have to survive with the following one for 10 seconds, so I figured, make it 40. That way it's like, okay, what happened? Nothing happened at 30 seconds. It is a surprise because nothing happens. And then I also added that PS, the last bubble always floats towards you, and that was when I added that piece of code. Honestly, most of the time, the bubble that follows you is really slow, and then every now and again it'll just zoom towards you at full speed. I'd say just don't stand too close to that bubble. I'm pretty sure it is actually a slightly different color, because to me it looks a slightly different color, but that might just be my terrible screen quality that's probably failing on me as we speak. So yeah. Anyway, that is the end of Flying Dragonfly, and now on to the second one. Okay, hello. Thank you for passing it over to me. I am the 1 hour 65. Basically the same thing. I didn't know what to do for this one at first. So originally I went for a fish, and like the fish was gonna have to try and like eat food that was coming towards it, like in an ocean biome. I think I like underestimated how short, yeah, how underestimated how short 30 seconds was. And for a while this one went without a name because I didn't really know what I was doing. I just added in the balls and made it so that they moved from one edge to the other. I kept forgetting as well that you can't put something on the edge if you want it so that when it reaches the other edge, well, at least without like adding walls and stuff, without making it so that when it hits the other edge, it teleports back, because otherwise it'll just keep teleporting. Also, this game was really buggy at the end. Like I added 3 pieces of food you could catch, and they were really buggy. Like the blue one kept glitching out and just staying still, like in the middle of the white background, because I don't think I changed it at all. Yeah, I think it just stays white. Although I do like the end credit scenes, because they all have end credit scenes, or at least the good ones have end credit scenes. The ones that have endings have end credit scenes, which is good. Always a good thing to see end credit scenes. Um, Also, this one was really difficult to code for some reason, because of, I think it was mainly because of the forever tab, because the orange one had the forever one because it didn't really have any other code. The other ones had to, like, it would broadcast code that I called food in all caps, and when that was broadcast, the other balls would then be like, okay, there is a 50-50% chance that I spawn right now, and go zooming across the way. And then once they were eaten, they again had that 50-50 chance of whether or not they would they would spawn or not. I could have probably edited it, but I only had half an hour. Oh no, I only had an hour on this. Oh my gosh, I had an hour on this and it's so bad. So what happened basically was the bulls weren't reacting to the fish at all. They were just sitting there. Like the fish's code was fine, their code was fine. They worked, but they didn't work because it didn't increase the modifier and it didn't disappear when it touched them. So I changed it to a butterfly because I figured that would be easier. And I'm not sure if it was changing the butterfly or if it was just editing the Orange Bull's code, but either way, it did end up working eventually. It still took me a good like 20 minutes or something. Like I can't see the timer from here because it's really pixelated. Um, okay, now I can. It says 38 minutes. Um, that time is going down fast, like holy sugars and tea. Anyway, I did manage to end up coding it eventually. I'd say this one, out of all three of them, probably had the most complicated code because while I probably couldn't have done the frog one in that amount of time, at the same time I could have because it was like a D&D session where the D&D characters just one shot every creature they face, so the DM adds more because they don't want them to win in zero point 0.5 seconds because I just added more frogs because otherwise I would have been done in like 45 minutes, maybe less. Um, so I did end up managing to make it so that the food system worked. You can see that the food went up there instead of just staying at zero. And I decided to make it so that where you die in this game is actually if your food goes below zero. And I figured if you don't quite understand what's going on at the very beginning, you wouldn't like realize that, oh hey, I'm supposed to catch that, because there's no instructions to this because I didn't have time. But you use basically, I'm going to explain it here. So if you go and check it out from, I'm going to stop throwing this. Basically, if you use the up and down arrow keys to go up and down, but you can't move left or right because I figured that would spoil the game. I just, that felt weird. Also, the blue ball glitched out at one point and um, was right in front of the butterfly, and I don't think I had time to properly code in the ending because like sometimes the ending screens would just appear out of nowhere, and like the ball, like you can see the blue ball gets stuck up there. It just gets stuck in random places, and like if they get stuck right in front of you, you just get like loads of points. Like it went up to like 4,000 and something points at one point because it glitched out and just sat in front of the butterfly. I do like the animation that the butterfly has though. It's very butterfly-like, you know. It's very fast in this time lapse, but it is decent all things considered, you know, compared to some of my other animations. The walk style. um, it is probably better considering it's 2 frames played in 2 frames per second, 2 frames per second. So, yeah, it was also really difficult to like code the like game over screens, and because for some reason I had two codes, one for the game over screen and one for the congratulations you won screen. So obviously one of them is when you get negative points, and then one of them's when you get positive points, effectively, like 15 points. So I coded in this like, and I didn't code it. I designed this like screen. I probably spent way too long on this because it took like 5 minutes to do both of these. Excuse me, to do both of these. Um, I do like how they turned out. Like I really like the skull, even though I didn't design the skull itself. I just got it the offer skeleton. I do like the skull. It is probably my favorite part of this whole game because that butterfly is ugly. Okay, but yeah, so I coded in the you win and you died screen, and also in like the last 30 seconds, I realized I forgot to add the screen that says press space to begin, because there's no instructions on this. You would just be sat there for like 10 minutes, like, okay, is something supposed to happen? Because this just looks like a butterfly. Um, and the answer is yes, something is supposed to happen, but you have to press space first. Um, and the orange one, it works great. I think I sped it up and it was way too fast, so I slowed it down again, and it's a decent speed. And the 12, the pink goes at -12 speed, and it's insane because you go at -6 speed. So if it was, if I think it is like a perfect square or something, it means that it's just, if it was a perfect square, it would be twice as fast as you at going to the other side. So it is pretty hard to catch, but if you do, it is good. Also, you can see there it just gets stuck, and I'm on 136 food, and the game hasn't said, "Oh hey, you won." So I didn't understand why. So I spent like 20, like the 6 minutes I have left trying to fix it. You can see there I got like 41,000 food because the blue got stuck, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working because it was very clearly supposed to have disappeared. So I had to recode it again for like the fifth time to try and make it so that it worked. And I feel bad for anybody who like does this for a living, because I want to do this for a living, and frankly I kind of don't at the same time, because if this is how hard blocks is, which is because this is like one of my first times properly using blocks in really short time as well, I don't want to know what JavaScript is like at all, because I've only ever been able to recolor a slab of material. I think it was blue or green. I can't remember because it was so uneventful. Um, anyway, that's literally the end. It just kind of ends there. Anyway, now on to 30 seconds. Did he just say did he just say 30 seconds? Anyway, now it's on to the 30-minute section. Um, So since this one was half an hour, I figured it wouldn't be worth it to make a properly coded game with like sprites that actually supposed to do stuff that's supposed to be fun. I did start with making it so that you could control them a bit. Um, and then I added like a grid background because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have fun with this because I have coded a couple small things in the past that were just mostly like joking around with my friends and stuff. And one of them was I was trying to code a fox to move, and it was this fox right there, and because of the whole point in 90 directions thing, it wasn't working properly, so it just kind of spun around, and it was really funny, and it's it's really funny when it's really heavily sped up because they're just shaking violently around the screen. So I will probably add like a flashing warning or something to it. And I'll be honest, I didn't really like it at first because it was just kind of sad. They just kind of sat there. So I spent like 5 minutes, maybe a bit less, figuring out how to make it so that they changed costumes, and it took me a little while to figure out it's because it's with other things. I did figure it out eventually, so it is currently dancing, believe it or not. Sprite 1 is dancing. That is his dance moves. He's a great dancer, don't judge him. And I also got the dinosaur because it looked rad and it looked like it was properly dancing, like properly animated dancing. And oh my gosh, it looks so funny sped up. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna add one of these really pixelated humans. So this is Cassie dances, and she was free, and it's so funny seeing them all dance together because it's just playing the frames really fast. And by now I had 20 minutes left, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna make this a dance party because this one's name, dance party. So I changed the sizes because the T-Rex was massive, and I went onto this guy and I was like, holy sugars and tea, this guy has more frames than the dinosaur because he had like 12 or something, and but like quite a lot of them were the same, so I just gave him the same amount as the dinosaur. And then I had this guy, and I was like, oh hey, he doesn't have any other frames to him, so I just made him spin and change his size at a random, and I changed it multiple times because he kept just getting really massive towards the end, and I don't know why, but he would never go back. So I made it a concert as well. Um, and so to so I made it a concert as well so that it would make more sense. and I don't know why. I just sat there like just laughing at it. There's pure stupidity of it. So I'd like messed around with like the effects and stuff. I am most definitely putting an epilepsy warning on the last one, because oh my god, it's just a bunch of flashing people. Oh my god. Anyway, I added like the color effects and stuff so that the background looks like it's dancing, and then I was like, screw it. I'm adding sound to this thing, and I'm not gonna add the sound to the voiceover because I don't want it interrupting my voiceover, because I've muted it and I don't want to slow it down because it'll just sound really weird. And I was messing around with it, and I might add it into like the bloopers of how funny it sounds, because I added some snoring so that um before like the music started playing, because if you press space the music starts playing and everything, but before that it's silent. I added some snoring so that before the music starts playing you can just hear us snoring, but I sped it up because everything else was sped up because of how fast everything moved, and it sounded so funny because I like sped it all the way up and turned it all the way up, and it sounded really funny. um Anyway, I think that that is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at that absolute mess that was the half an hour. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. But I'm not done yet, because I'm gonna show you a preview of like all the games together as one. I don't think they realize that most of And like
these
with the
don't
music and
actually
stuff.
have
So yeah.
music. Ignore my tabs, okay? I didn't actually close a bunch of them. I didn't have them open because I was editing, and if I open something else, I close it. But that's play, WAs and D keys. I forgot. So it starts with the one frog. It's actually really easy at the beginning of the game, and you do get slightly bigger as you go on. Why? Oh god, I'm really bad at this. I lasted 13 seconds. So if you look, you do get, your dragonfly does get slightly bigger as it goes on. So not only is it increasing difficulty because there's more frogs and more bubbles, but also you get bigger, so you're an easier target. Even though you're not like eating anything, you still get bigger. And then here's the one that follows you. Yay! Oh my god. Oh no. Why is this so hard? This should not be this hard. How did I do this in one go? Oh, I think I'm almost done. Don't follow me. If you hit me once, I'll die. I don't want you to kill me, thank you. Yeah, I think the main one that you have to avoid is the bubble that follows you. Let me see, where is the next one? I will make these shareable by the time this is posted, because it is like coming up to midnight, so I don't want to post this yet. I will get permission and post this in a bit though. Let me just go on to the butterfly one. This is a perfect screen for it because this is exactly a representation of what it is. I just started. I haven't. How is it game? Okay, there we go. This is what I mean by this one is extremely buggy, because it is. Oh right, space. Wait, is this the? Oh, they're not showing up. This is a very buggy game. I shouldn't be editing the code, but. Yeah, it's not working. Oh, it probably wasn't even that good anyway. But the last one is Dance Party, and you'll finally get to hear the epic music. Yeah, when I first coded it, music, it was all playing at the same time. Like I didn't have those weights between them, which are like the exact which are like the exact length of the song. But actually, I have the snoring sound still on this dude, the spinning dude, so I can like notice like how fast and loud it was. That is a snoring noise. Let me try slow it down. Turn it down. Oh, I think it has the robot. Does it have the robot mode? Hang on, let me get up the actual snoring sound because I don't think I can get it. Wait, there were croaking noises. Oh, I could have had them in. That's not the point. Where is it? There. This is what it normally sounds like. You can just go crazy with it. This feels like horror movie music. It's really slow. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.